This conference will now be recorded.
Good morning, guys. We'll get started. Can you see my screen?
Yeah, able to see.
So, as part of this Scrum methodology in our Azure boards, which is requirements management, we done till this point at sprint backlog. Okay, that means out of a large number of requirements, we did some planning and we assigned to a couple of people and set up the start date and dates and enter the effort as well. So that means you have some number of requirements which can be delivered as part of the sprint backlog. Now, from today and the next 10 days till the end of next week, this daily scrum will happen. Means scrum meetings basically, because the developers, testers, and everybody starts working on the development areas. Okay, and every day there will be some status meetings. You call it as a daily scrum. Okay, generally it will be maximum 15 minutes, but of course many people extend it to 1 hour, 2 hours as well, but that's not the right. So it will be just 15 minutes. You call it as a daily scrum, where you basically discuss what you have done yesterday, if there are any issues, okay, what you will be doing tomorrow, you need any help, etc. Okay, if there are any issues or any help required, that will be taken offline after the meeting, but not within the meeting. So that happens for the entire sprint. That means 10 days duration. At the end of all these 10 days, 10 working days, basically 2 weeks, so your functionalities will be delivered to the QA and will get tested. And on the last day, you will do the sprint review or retro meeting. That means your project manager or scrum master, whoever is there, they basically have an hour call with all of you, asking if there are any issues. There might have been some good things happened. There might have been some bad practices happen. So they review everything and use the lessons learned for the next sprint. So that's how your Scrum works. So I have to say, it is very simple if you look into this diagram, right? So you have the product backlog. Every sprint you do the sprint planning, then you will have a sprint backlog, which is a subset of these requirements. And as part of sprint planning, you assign to multiple people. They start working on it. Every day you will have the daily scrum meetings. At the end of the sprint, you will have the sprint review and retro meetings to retrospect for the lessons learned, or to note down the best practices. At the end of the sprint, you will have working software, means which can be tested or used by end users. Okay, as part of this process, you will see task boards or backlog boards, etc. for the tracking purpose, means how your project is ahead. Moving ahead in the as part of your development. And there will be some charts to mention the same thing in a visualization manner, means whether it is on time or not on time, etc. So this is a simple way of representing your Scrum method. So we'll go to other topics, continuation to the yesterday one. Would like to understand now. Are you able to understand this? If you're already working on it, then well and good. If you don't know, let me know if it makes sense or not. Okay, the reason I mentioned this one, I explained this one because this is one of the key questions that are part of any interview. Have you worked in Scrum-based methodology project? This kind of.
Purna, I have
Yeah.
one question. Is sprint grooming and sprint planning is not same, I think so. So
No,
what
both
exactly?
are same only. Those are synonyms. That's it.
Means
Synonyms.
like a sprint grooming is means like we will analyze the things, and if what are the possible ways are there, and then only we will plan for the tasks, I think so.
No,
Correct me
there
if
is
I
no such kind. There is no such kind of another phase. Those are synonyms. Sprint planning or grooming, both are same only. Different people uses different words. That's it.
okay.
If somebody says they are different, they don't know how to work in a what is a Scrum based methodology. That's it. As simple as that.
Actually,
Better way.
in one of my projects, I have seen like every week they will have 2 hours of session on particularly like sprint grooming. Means like
So
for
that's
next
wrong.
sprint,
See, that's
what
wrong.
are the sprint?
That's yeah, I understand.
Okay.
That's wrong. Whatever the bad practices they can bring, they will bring, because that is all about insecurity, which I should not talk about in the session. Okay. What you have
Mhm.
to do is you have to go to the agile methodology websites. Who are the owners or founders of these methodologies, right? Just check there if there is any
Mhm.
such kind of process. No. If they're using different words, you can use different words, but they cannot make it different.
Actually, they have two things. Like one is planning, another one is sprint grooming. Sprint grooming
That's
is
what I'm
every
saying.
week. Mhm.
No, there is no such thing.
Okay.
It is, those are synonyms. Sprint planning. See, planning or grooming, what is that? Grooming or planning, both are same almost. You are trying to do something, you are nurturing something. Those are synonyms. But every week, if someone is doing something 2 hours, 3 hours, then that's up to their personal activities, not related to the methodology.
Yes,
Nobody can
maybe.
stop from anyone from doing anything, right? Let us say I said daily scrum is 15 minutes. How many people are doing 15 minutes scrum meeting?
Yeah, we have to do 15 minutes only because we
But
strictly
how
follow.
many people are doing it? They do it
Yeah,
more than 1 hour, 2 hours, right?
that
So
that I
that we can't do. That we can't help, because but if you go to the matured organizations, they don't do. Many of the
yes.
times the scrum meeting finishes less than 5 minutes as well, based on the team. If they
Each
have bigger
person,
teams, what they do, they split the
yeah,
team
they will.
into smaller.
Yes, yes, obviously. In my previous company, we have around 24 members. We are into 12 people, and each person should speak around 1.5 minute max. That's the way
Exactly,
the.
exactly. So that
But
means that manager knows how to run the show. Very simple,
yes,
as simple as that.
but actually that's the sprint grooming. They have because no one is following exact what is the Scrum.
See,
As a
the problem here is, if you learn from experts, if you learn with experts, you will learn how to do it. But what happens? People try to try to read from blog, and they don't know whether that blog, the person who ever written that blog is expert or not. If they
yes,
feel it easy, they read it. But you need to see the authenticity of the person, right? Whether he is from Microsoft or Google, what's his profile? Okay. You need to look at the profile of the author, right? Then only you will understand whatever they're writing is right or wrong.
okay,
Okay.
okay,
So
yeah,
So let's continue. So guys, this is Scrum. There is nothing more than that. It's all about flexibility and uh, fa- I mean, faster go-to-market state. Okay. Let's go to our portal, dev.azure.com. You can keep that diagram in your mind, so you can follow this in your projects in future, or if any questions comes as part of your interviews, you can cover it, and it may be a question from your certification as well. Okay. Since my credentials are cached, I already logged into my dev.azure.com, my organization. Let's go to our app. So, we done sprint planning yesterday, right? We assigned it to the multiple people and we given the effort, etc. And on top, so now I'm in the board section. Okay, so where it will show backlogs or the features. Okay, you can see on the right hand side, right? Backlogs are features. These are shown on the boards, Scrum boards, you can say. Okay, and on top you see what you have, online travel booking app team. So this is the team which was created when we created the project, because our project name is online travel booking. It created a team called uh, I think I don't say now anything. I will simply say it created some section called online travel booking team. Okay. Now if I go to any other thing, database, empty, go to .NET, empty. You remember we have people who are part of the .NET team, right? Okay, and who are part of API team as well. But and we assigned the tasks to the members who are part of .NET team as well. But I don't see anything here. You may say that, hey, what you assigned is a task, right? These are the backlogs, right? Why they will appear? But you remember, I also assigned backlog items as well to the .NET team members. Backlog means a level up to the task, right? Okay, but none of them are appearing here. Only online travel booking app team details are available here. Okay, did you, I mean, now you understand these, whatever the reports you are seeing, I would say in generic word, these are the reports tracking the progress of your assigned requirements. Okay, in what stage they are, right? So now we are in the boards, which shows backlogs or features to show the progress of your team. And whatever you see are related to your team. But all the other team boards are empty. The reason is area path. I was telling about area path, right? I will talk about area path when the time comes. Whenever you created a team, you selected a checkbox saying that, hey, create an area path for this team with the same name as area, team. If you don't remember, let's quickly go and have a look at it. Click on teams, new item. You remember, you give the name and you add the members now or later. And at the bottom, you see, create an area path, right? With the name of the team. This is what I'm talking about. So with that, all the areas are created for each and every team. Now what happened? Why you are not able to see it for other teams? See, for API also I have one member. Who is this? If I click this, first right, who is the admin? Okay. For database, I have two people, Purna K. Hasura and then Sahul. .NET I have three. So each and every team I have people, and I am sure I assigned the tasks or requirements to many people, all of these guys. But still only I'm seeing product backlogs of this team only. So the reason, now open this. Now go to work items. Sorry, go to boards only. Just let me show you how it looks. Now we open any one of these backlogs. While you are filling these details, you are giving the assigned item, and you taken care of this sprint, which sprint it has to be developed, right? And the top one area. So what is the area? We never changed it. The area is online travel booking app. This area belongs to your defaulting online travel booking app. That's the reason it is not appearing in your other team boards. Okay, boards are specific to the teams, and whatever the item that has to be displayed in that board will be decided by this area path here. Got me? If I have to make it visible in other team board, I have to select the other area paths. You got it? Any questions here? Let me change it for others. Okay, what I do, work items, right? So I will take some other things. Let us say book hotels. I haven't done anything, right? Let me take this book hotels, and let me put this into, let us say, sprint 3, and then I will make it API. That means now the API, the board of API team will have this product backlog item displayed. Now you can assign it to anyone. That's not a problem. Okay. What I would say. Yeah.
Sorry for interruption. But
Yeah.
no, I mean, what if a product backlog item as a requirement for .NET and for any API database? Should you create a copy, or should we assign?
No, it will never be like that. Okay. So you will define the context, right? So let us say these requirements are context based. Okay, let us say you have this online travel booking team only. So you have the Epic feature and then product backlog item, right? Let us say book hotels. Okay, when you say book hotels product backlog, we understand that for creating this functionality, we need a database. You need a, what do you say? You need a API. You need a something else as well, maybe middleware development, whatever it is. Okay, it contains a number of sub activities. You call it as a tasks, right? The next level under this book hotels feature. Okay, now where you want to keep it? Is it under a API path? Is it under some other database path, etc.? It all depends on the owner who owns this requirement. Okay, I created area paths like API, database, etc. Just for a better clarity. Some other people may create area paths with a team name as well. Sorry, person name as well, or portfolio name as well. It depends. That it is just a text. So I would say whoever is the owner of that area, let us say all these book hotels will be done by some team, XYZ team. Then you can give the name. Okay, so when you are creating a team, if you select the checkbox, it automatically creates. If you don't select the checkbox, it will not create. Then you will manually go and create your area and you give whatever is the name you want to. Okay, this is a contest. There is no predefined criteria for that one. All you want to do is, okay, some XYZ person or team needs to monitor this progress because they're working on it. So you will keep that requirement under that area. Does it make sense?
Got it, Puneet.
Okay. So now if I go to the boards, I saved it, right? If I go to the boards, now go to the API. You see this one because now the area path of this product backlog item is API. Likewise, you can decide who can monitor what requirements. Okay, the reason these boards are specific to the teams, and these are driven by the area paths. If you don't set the area path correctly, it will not come. Okay, and it doesn't affect your even what is the way people work, right? Because this is only for the tracking purpose. Okay, this is one thing about area paths. Okay, the other one. Let's go to, okay, this is backlogs is nothing but a backlog view. Okay, here also you see again here also you have the teams. Nothing here because we haven't done anything for this team. Okay, now go to the sprints one. Sprint means this is specific to the sprint. Okay, what this is saying now, what it is saying, it cannot be the information. The iteration path might have been deleted or might not be selected for this team. Okay, basically I navigated from team which doesn't have the sprint selected. That could be the reason. Okay, now I clicked it again. So these are the teams that I have, right? I set up. You see now, online travel booking apping, which is the default team, started working from the sprint one. Sorry, I clicked it. Let me go back. That's okay. I clicked it unnecessarily. That's okay. Now, this is the task board. What you see here, right? The top one. This is a task board. That means it only shows the tasks in this board, and also it is showing the parent of the task as well on the left hand side. Okay. That means if you see what you have two tasks here, UI design, API development. These are part of some other product backlog item. This is a product backlog item, but unfortunately you see this one, this is grayed out and it is saying unparented. That means we created these tasks and we assigned it to couple of people, but we did not take care of its parent. I mean to which product backlog item these tasks are belonging to. So what happens if you don't have that categorization? The tracking will become more difficult. And let us say you done these two tasks, but these are part of one product backlog item. You will not know that the product backlog item status because of these things. Some mismatches happens, but guys, don't scratch your mind because it is a project management activity. I'm just trying to help you in terms of again I'm repeating, questions during the interviews, for your questions in your certification, and it also helps you in future. Okay, and you will even project manager may come and ask you, hey, I created these things, but why this is happening like this unparented? But others, you see, search for flights product backlog item, it is clearly showing this task is a parent of search for flights. But why these are not? So if you are using a Excel sheet, you will not come to know all these things if they are associated or not, because it doesn't have any intelligence. Now you understand these two tasks doesn't have any parent, and you see 90 hours here. That means sum of 24 and 66. Now what you do when you looked at it, you just go and you can help the people saying, hey, hey man, it doesn't have a parent. Just open it, add a parent. That's just open this. Now, how do you add a parent or child? At the related work at the bottom, click on this existing item. Now search for your flight site. Probably I'll select for this product backlog item, search for flights. Say okay. Save and close. Now you see earlier 90 hours of your task doesn't have a parent. Now you see only 66 hours of your task doesn't have a parent. That means this is the 66 what you see here. Now let's go and attach a parent to this person as well. Again, this is a search for flights. Okay, now you see there is nothing under unparented category. Everything is having. Okay, guys, that is the reason I did not fill some of the items yesterday and day before yesterday, because if I do it right, everything in the first slide, you will not come to know the importance of these things. Okay, now if we go to the sprint 2 here, future sprint, nothing is planned because you haven't assigned any task to the sprint, and this is the current. Understand the importance of your area pass and how do you manage these things, some of the issues what you see. Okay, and another couple of things that you need to take care. Let's move to API team. Okay, you have something here, but it doesn't have any tasks for this book holder. So obviously we did not create anything. And this is starting from the sprint 3. Where I am splitting, if I go to sprint 1, it is not even showing the sprint 1 here. But if your API team, online travel booking team, if you go here, it shows sprint 1 to all the sprints what I have. Okay, you may say that this guy is starting from here. That's the reason it is not showing others. It is showing others. And this guy API is starting from sprint 3. So I did not set it yesterday in front of you. I set it separately. What does it mean is, in the earlier sessions I mentioned, the different teams can come to your team, your project team at different intervals. Some people may start in sprint 1, 2, 3, etc. So you need to define it. Okay, and in the same sprint task board, you see, I don't see the other teams here, database team or what do you say, we have another one, .NET team. I don't see them here. The reason I did not set up, I did not configure those teams for this sprint. You got my point? How do you know that they're not configured? The first thing is they are not available in this drop down under sprints section. Then you can understand that those teams are not configured here. You need to configure them in order to make them available here, so that you can see the assigned tasks to them and the progress. How do you do that? For that, again, you have to go to the project settings. The best way for you to understand is to re-engineering. What you can do if you are doing it for the first time, right? Go to the project team configuration. So now I am team configuration. Let's look at this default team, online travel booking app team. Okay, go to the iterations. You see at the bottom, this guy is part of 3 sprints. Sprint 1 and sprint 2. For this team, all these 3 sprints are set up. You see, online travel booking app, sprint 1, online travel booking app, that is our app name, sprint 2, etc. Okay, and this is not, you can have a look at it. I mean, these are the default things. You don't need to worry. All you need to do is you need to select the iterations here for your team. Then only those will come there. Let's have a look at these areas. This team, online travel booking app team, is a part of online travel booking app area. Okay, templates we will see after some time for the customization. Similarly, now the introspect for the API team. Now, if you look at the API team, start from general, first tab, this working days, etc. Iteration. You see, this team is starting from sprint 3 and he is not part of any other sprints. You see here. And the first one is your app name and then sprint 3. It is starting from here. Okay. And go to the areas. His area name is online travel booking app, that is root API. That is his area part. Now go to the other team, .NET. Go to general. Again, this is your regular stuff, working days, etc. Iterations. See, this guy is not set up. Okay, so you need to set up iteration here, means from which sprint this team will come into your project team. Project. Okay, for that, what you need to do, click and select iterations. You can select sprint 1 or whenever they want to start. I'm just putting sprint 1. Save and close. And you can also select, if you think that they also needed in sprint 2, select that. That's it. Now you done the sprint stuff. Now come to the areas. Area is already done because whenever we created, the area has come. Okay. By some reason, when you are creating team, if you did not select that checkbox, create an area path, then you have to manually create it. Okay. Now it's done. That's how you set up the teams for the iterations or sprints. Both are synonyms. Now go to your online travel booking app. Go to the boards. Go to the sprints. You see now, .NET team is also there because we set up the .NET team now. Click on .NET team. Of course, we haven't planned anything for that team using area pass. That's the reason it is saying, hey, you haven't scheduled it. Okay, sprint 1, you see sprint 1. It is showing sprint 2 also, the future. Got you guys? How do you configure sprints for your teams so that you ensure that you know that when the different teams are coming into your project work, and you can see it visualized manner. Any doubts here? So the questions will be like this. Hey, I have different teams. How do you configure the sprints for the teams when they will come into team? When what work they do? How do you configure them? That's how you get the questions. So you need to say that you have to configure the sprints, and then you have to configure the area paths for them, and then you can start go and assigning the tasks, or I would say work items to them, and that is regular. And if team boards are empty here, that means it is a problem with the area path. So you have to open your product backlog items and change the area path so that it will appear in your desired team boards. So here you have multiple things. Boards contains product backlog items or features. So you can track the status at that level. And sprints contains the task level board. That means task board. Another word, task board. It is at the task level. You can track the status like. Okay. Any doubts, guys? Okay. Now, I covered all of the things that are related to your sprint configuration, area paths, and how do you configure them for your teams. And you also know about boards and sprints. These guys, you have to practice it, and you need to explore it. Basically, that's where you can remember.
Purna, is this session recording? We need to go through the steps again and again, right?
Everything is recorded. I already provided access to it. Every day I give it. Okay. So I started before I say good morning itself. Okay.
Okay.
So now you know all about Scrum methodology. Let's get into some kind of customization, as I told you yesterday. So you can customize all these are templates, right? Be it a product backlog, task, or Epic, or anything. Everything is a template. That this is a tool. So let's if somebody wants to customize this template, that means adding another text box for capturing some information, etc. So unlike programming languages, you all just need to do is adding the control, and everything database stuff, everything will be taken care by your platform. You don't need to worry about it. So let us say I want to customize some template. The easiest one is, let's say you want to customize this product backlog template. Let's open any product backlog item. As I told you, on the right hand side, you see this more button, right? Now here, click on customize. So you are here now. Okay. Now what I want to do is, I want to along with this description, acceptance criteria. So details, this is just a group. Under this group, you have these sections, but this is not visible to you while you are using as an end user. Now you are in the admin mode. Okay. You have the priority, effort. So these are all the controls, right? So I want to keep another control to track some other thing. Probably your manager or someone wanted to track something. So how you can do? You have these options already here. A new field and new group. That means if you want to create a section like this, which a number of controls, then you can use a new group. If you want to add only one field, then you can simply say new field. Now you can give the name here. Let us say build ID. I'm just giving. You want to keep it a text box or a date time or a drop down. So you have all that stuff here. These are the supported stuff. I would say text multiple lines or text single line. So I'll say text single line or a decimal. Basically, build IDs will be in the decimal format. Okay, floating, right? And give some description if you want to. You can give it. Just leave that. Now say options. Is it a required field? Means if it is a required field, whenever you try to save your product backlog, this must have some value. Okay, you can keep it, and then this is how it looks. This is part of your details section. Okay, now say add field. So you call it as a layout, complete thing. Now you go to any work item. All your work item templates are, work items are updated because you changed the template. So let's go. Open any work item now. Product backlog item, work item type. See, you have the build ID added. Now this is showing some red symbol, and the entire group is also red symbol because this is mandatory item. Let us say I use some description here, test description, and I'm trying to save it, but this save button is not enabled. The reason, the mandatory field is not set. So probably I have to do this one. Okay, some junk value. Okay, build ID is not of the right type. Okay, so I'm not just giving interest to any of these validations. Our intention is to see how to add it. Okay, now I given some number. Now since something is there, I will be able to save it. Just think from the admin perspective. Likewise, you can see for all of the product backlog items because the template is changed. Okay, you see this. Okay, the reason I mentioned build ID, this is a typical requirement from matured organizations. Okay, once the requirements move to the QA environment, right? People start testing it. They find the bugs actually. Okay, so to those bugs, if you go to the bug, right? We haven't created a bug. Okay, let's go and create a bug. You look at the bug, right? It is showing some found in build, right? You see, these are all assigned, etc. System info where they found it, and these are all things there. It is showing found in build as well. That means in which build, CI build, continuous integration build, this bug is found. Okay, that is at the bug level. But people may want to capture this as part of your product backlog item or task as well. I'm just giving an example. Then that's how you can go and add it. Similarly, you can change the layout of any of your templates. Okay, sorry, cancel. Let us say I want to add some more thing here. Backlog, right? Customize it. Is a bug. Yeah, don't save it. They were in the bug template. You can go and add it. You can add a drop down field as well. Let us say instead of text, you can add a pick list is the drop down integer or string. Okay, you can go and add it. It will appear there. Okay, as simple as this. If you say new group, it will add a new section itself. Let us say yes. Now you see the new section itself added here, and now you can go and add fields into that. So let us say like this. You see here, right? So this is how you add another section as well. Okay, let me remove this. Okay, and if you think there are some extensions that you can use it, means some readily available controls, you can go and say get extensions. So this is a Azure DevOps marketplace. You can search for extensions here. Let us say you see there is some control from someone, multi-value control. So people will tell you, your project manager or whoever needs it, right? They might have done some research. They said, hey, I have this extension here. Can you go and add it to your work item or bug, whatever it is. Okay, you need to have admin privilege. Otherwise, you cannot install this extension into your project. Okay, basically it will be installed into the organization. That means this control will be available for all the projects in your organization. I will not do it now. We'll get a chance to work on this extension. Okay, Okay, so this is a customization of your templates. The other one, states. Again, this is also same thing. Right now, for each and every work item type, we have a number of states, right? I mean, the state names are changing from work item type to work item type, right? Now we are in the bug work item type. It is showing these are the different stages available: new, approved, committed, done, etc. Let us say if your project manager or I mean test manager want to add another state for his reference, okay, I mean for his comfort, he can go and add a new state here. Click on new state. Say, let us say deferred, defer, okay, and then I will add it under somewhere like, let us say, in progress, under category. What color you want to give it? I would say somewhere, say create. So you see a defer here. Now let's go and see the bug actually. Any one of the bugs. So I did not create a bug, right? Let's open and see. Okay. Initially it will not come. This is a new state, right? So what you do? Okay. And then I mean, just for a best practice program, just adding all these things. I can associate this bug with some parents, right? I would go and say search for flights product background. So this is for tracking purpose. Which requirement is having how many number of bugs. So that will help. This will help in that way. Okay. Now let's save it. Now if I open it again, what I do, I simply this time I will assign it to probably this guy. Okay. Save this one. Now this guy can go and change it. So initially when it was not assigned, it was not showing all these things, right? Now you see, I added a defer thing. Okay, approved, committed. Now defer also has come. This guy says, no, this bug is not valid. You can simply say, this is the tooltip test kind of stuff. What is the reason he is deferring it? So you will enter something, not reproducer, something like this. Okay, so likewise you can add your states as well. So but someone has to tell you where you need to add that state. Okay, it's not your decision. You are here only to implement whatever they are saying. I mean, your project manager or test manager, whoever it is. Okay, and the other one in the customization process, another type of customization is rules. So you can also write some rules. Let us say if something is happened in one of the work items, work item type, you can do some action as well. Let us say, let's look at what are all the different rules that you can make. First, you need to give some name. This name can be anything. Okay. So what is the condition to trigger this rule? So you have available conditions. So you have to use only these things. Okay. When a work item is created, work item changes to some state. Okay. Work item state is something. Work item state is not something. The value equal to something. So you have a number of conditions here. Guys, you need to explore this one. Okay. So, but I'm showing how to do it. Okay. A work item state changes to, and this is basically bug. I'm doing it under the bug template. Okay, I'm adding this rule to the bug template. Change it to approved. Okay, then what action should be done? Okay, that's what you define in the actions. You can say whenever it is approved, you can say set the value of. There are a couple of things here. You can explore it. Set the value of, select a field. Let us say you can take any one of these things. Remaining work, it is deferred. The remaining work to some input value. I would say 0. This I would, for to make sense, just defer. Now what I do, I'll go to some. We'll create some fresh bug and change the navigation. Okay, book items. Now you will understand the rule. Okay, let's go to bug. Create some bug here. You can give anything, right? Just for us. And I will assign it to some person. Okay. And this is in the new. Okay, blah blah blah. Okay, just say save. Okay. Now, so we said that when now I have a bug. Whenever this state change to let us say defer, then the remaining work will become 0. Probably when this bug is assigned to him, the developer might say, hey, it takes 20 hours to fix this bug. That's what they may say during the assignment, because this discussion will happen, right? Now this guy went back and worked on it, did some analysis, and he thought that this is not a bug, actual bug. Then he took a decision to defer it. Then what he will do? He will, this Sahul will come and say, defer this and save it. Now you might have observed, as soon as he deferred it, the remaining work will become 0 because we set a condition. So this is how you can make the people's life easier, and you can govern it as well using the rules available on your templates. So conditions, if something happens, you can do something. Got it? Guys, any doubts here? So now I would say we covered boards, backlog sprints. We know how now how to configure sprints, how to set the dates, how you can take care of the boards of individual teams. If it is not displaying any product backlogs or feature, why it is not coming? Because your teams are not configured. So you need to go and set the team configuration. Go to the team configuration, set it, like you need to assign the sprint to the team and assign the area path. And your backlog items also should have the area path defined respectively. Then it will come in the respective area path. Okay, if you do only those things, then only these things will come here. Okay, and sprints, if you don't set a sprint for your team, again those teams will not appear here. So you have to define. You went to the iterations, right? Team configurations and iterations. If you don't, we did not set up the database. That's why database team didn't come here. Okay, so and then you also see this visual representation, so that it becomes easy for the people to identify which tasks are in which activity. Are they related to design? Are they related to development, etc.? And you also done the capacity planning. I'm just repeating. So capacity planning, you can mention who is on off, who works on what type of activity. It will give you a good view when you go to the sprints, right? So for that, capacity planning tracking, which shows, whether your team is doing well or not. Okay, so where is that? Work details, right? So when a person, this is a work detail section. When it is red, that means something wrong. Then whoever is managing this project or team, they can go and take the respective actions, because the available time is not sufficient. They have to take some people or move the work to the different sprints, etc. They can take whatever is the decision they can do, so that this project will be on time. So this will be done by work detail section. That for that you need to define the capacity. Okay. And the next one is analytics, the burn down charts, right? So as I told you, when you are using tools like Azure DevOps, all the reporting is automatic. You don't need to do anything. Burn down chart is something which shows you whether your development is going smooth or not. That means, let us say you have a 80 hours work and you have a 2 weeks, one person is available. Every day he has to complete 8 hours of work. Otherwise, uh, they cannot meet the deadline. That's what it shows. Okay. Yesterday I entered the remaining effort of the task. I made it. I reduced it because one day is crossed actually. I just wanted to show this board. If I don't enter that effort, right, then it will not show like this. Okay, now you see the top one is, guys, you don't need to worry about it. Again, this is the project manager or project owner to track the capacity, but just I'm giving explanation so that you will answer your queries. Okay? I mean, any question from the interviews. Okay, you see what it is saying? This is ideal. You see in the bottom, remaining capacity, ideal trend. This is the legend. Okay, this is the remaining. If you hear, it is showing remaining hours are 116, remaining capacity is 88. So you basically have to complete 116 hours of work, but the capacity available is only 88. Means you don't have enough persons. That's the reason you see the red mark there in the work detail section as well. Now you can correlate. Everything is working together. Here you have the red. Here also it is showing remaining capacity is less than the remaining work to be done. Okay. So that's how people, track the work or take the proactive decisions. But of course, many people don't take it. That's why we slip the deadlines.
Puna, one question, Puna.
Yeah.
Yeah, where exactly is the red? I mean, on the burn down chart. Okay.
No, it will not show red. It will only say, okay. If you look at the bottom, right, remaining
Okay.
capacity, ideal trend. Okay, this is the ideal trend. If everybody is finishing 8 hours per day, obviously they will close the work as per the sprint duration. Let us say someone is stuck, okay, in some requirement or bug fixing. What happens? See, generally what happens? People go and enter 8 hours per day. See, working for 8 hours is different. Completing your 8 hours of work is different. Okay, working for 8 hours means you are in office, that's it. But your bug is not yet completed. You given the estimate that this bug takes 8 hours to complete. But on a particular day, you are not able to complete it. Then what a person has to do, instead of putting 8 hours into the system, like in this bug remaining effort, he has to put some 4 hours or 5 hours because it is not yet completed, right? That's the developer decision or whoever is fixing that bug, right? If they do genuinely like that, then your burn down charts will go up and down like this. But if you don't do it genuinely, simply you go and enter the work hours the way you fill your time sheets, whether you work 8 hours or not, don't work 8 hours, you will enter 8 hours there in the time sheets. If you think this thing is also in the same manner, then this always straight line only. You will not see the different lines here. It clearly shows remaining capacity. This is the ideal trend, but this is the actual trend. It has to be equal or on top. If it is below, that means something is not right. Then people can go and observe what's happening. This is the advantage of the burn down charts. Two simple things: what is the ideal trend? What is the current trend? That's what it shows.
Got
Okay.
it, Puna.
And the other thing that is part of your board set, see, this is not only related to your Azure boards or anything, it is there everywhere. I mean, these are the queries. That means, uh, uh, to see some data of yours. Let us say you are working for multiple things, or let us say your project manager want to know how many projects are in, how many items are in progress, like that. He can create a chart as well, because people need the reports, right? The other management people, they may not, they don't even come to this Azure DevOps or any tool to look at that one. They need some reports. How they can do? Or they need some dashboards. Everybody looks for that. They can go and people can come here and create a queries like this. Work item type, you can see all this. Again, this is all drop down based. Okay. If work item type equal to any, but basically it will be the different work items what you have. Okay. And a state equal to any, then display something. Okay, I would say run query, and it is displaying all these things, but I will add one more clause as well. Add new class, and I would say assigned to me or something. Assigned to equal to, I can search for the people. I would say assigned to at the rate me means it's me. Okay, now if I run this query, it is showing like this. I can add a chart as well. So you can go to the charts. This is not yet saved. That's why it is saying unsaved query. Go to the result, save the query. You say Purna. So you have, if you select my query section, that means it is visible only to you. But if you want to make it available to the other teams also, other members also, then you can say shared queries. Okay. Generally, shared queries will be created by the project manager, because he is interested to show that to everyone. But this is your query, so you can simply say it is in your my queries. Now you can go and add your charts. Okay, new chart, and these are the charts available. Okay, you can select any one of the chart, and it is saying group by, let us say, a state. Okay, now people can share these charts, or these can be added to the dashboards as well. The bottom line here is you can use queries section to create some reports based on your query. Okay, and create the charts as well, which you can share it with the other people. Okay, and the same charts. Now, if you go to the overview section, we did not do anything in the dashboards, right? Those things can be added here as well. Basically, again, these dashboards are specific to your teams as well. The way in boards, we have boards and sprints for each team, right? In the same way, here also, you can create the dashboards for team as well. Okay. Now, since I am administrator, I have the edit permissions here. Okay. I can go and add a widget. These are all widget based. Okay. We just written a query for getting the requirements of a person, right? But you have the widgets as well. I would say simply take this widget, drag and drop, and you basically see it automatically displaying my things. Okay, and you can add the burn down charts, print burn down charts. Likewise, you have many things here. So what we do while we are going through different phases of this training, we can go and add different things here. Let us say deployment status. We haven't come to the CD pipeline, right? We can't do. Let us say lead time, something it is saying. Likewise, you can go and so many things are related to your code review. I mean, Azure repos. Okay, pipelines, sprint burn down charts. Okay. So you have many things here. You have the team members. Like once you add your required widgets here, simply say done editing. Now it is showing all these things in one dashboard. So these are very good for the management people who wants to track different items in a single pane. Now this dashboard is available for the online travel booking app team. If you are not part of this team, you will not be able to see this dashboard. So that is based on again your team configuration, right? If the person is added to the .NET team, he will see .NET dashboard. If the person is added to online travel booking app team, he will see their dashboard. The other dashboards are empty. Of course, we haven't configured it. And you can go and play around this. Okay, you can see here who owned it. Okay, you can automatically refreshing every 5 minutes. It doesn't require 5 minutes refresh. Okay, people don't keep it open, right? Obviously, people move there and here, so you don't need that one. Okay, you can manage the permissions. CC who can, I mean, I was just telling, right? Who can see this? This can be seen by default this team only. Okay, that's the advantage of the dashboard. That's the reason I'm just covering it at the end. Okay. So wikis, it is again to create a documentation about your project. So your documentation spread across all your pages, right? Your requirements, code management, CI/CD pipeline, etc. So people can go and create wikis. I mean, this is equivalent to what you see in any other knowledge management, portals like Wikipedia or your internal portal, SharePoint portal, whatever it is. You can go and do your own stuff. Let us say flight management. People can give some documentation here. Okay, and this will go. I mean, but the only advantage here is probably you can bring some of these work items section etc into your wikis documentation. That means as a hyperlinks. Okay, you can do that one, and you see another option. Okay, if we go to the wikis, right, now I created a flight management. You see people can go and talk about it, and people can subscribe to that, so that whenever something is happened to your documentation, you will get a notification via email. So you can link the work items as well. You see, once I created it, you see the link work items. Click on link work items. What is here? Search for flight. Sorry, this is flight management, right? What I am going to do? So this is a documentation about your flight management, right? What you basically doing? What you basically doing? You also mentioning here. This is about flight management, and the associated requirements for this documentation are these. Okay, so you are basically giving a very good information. This is the documentation about flight management, and the associated requirements are these. Okay, now people understand what exactly this documentation is about. Okay, guys. So I have one more thing to be covered as part of this a little advanced. Okay, I just want to cover this that tomorrow, and then we can get into the repo section. So in a nutshell, what you done is you learn Scrum methodology, you learn how to do the requirements management, you know how to manage your parent-child relationships. Okay, you know Epic feature, product backlog, and tasks, and you know how to customize those templates, and you know how to make the tracking mechanism easier by making the tiles colors changing to activity type. You define the rules for that, and you know how to define sprints for your teams, and boards for your teams, and sprint task boards for your boards, for your teams. All these things you know how to configure it, along with the customization of your template, including your states and some rules, and then adding fields, etc. Okay? And not last but not the least, the capacity management. That is the best feature for anyone. Yes, any questions? Would like to close the session for today here. Tomorrow we'll start that another important one, and then get into the repo section. And now I suggest you guys to start using your Azure DevOps. Okay, go and subscribe to your Azure Cloud, portal.azure.com, and then that will automatically give you access to the Azure DevOps. But for the first time, it will ask you to sign up. You need a credit card for a subscription. Because now you need to start practicing all this. So if you don't have any questions, we can wrap it up for the day. Okay, guys. Then thank you and have a good day. Catch up.
Thank you.